Hey, what's up, guys? I had some time, so I'm going to be giving you guys a free Invicta FC56 breakdown prediction video, and might even give you guys a free bet at the end, but hit the like button, put some comments down below. I would appreciate the support for videos like this. I'm going to start putting out some Contender Series videos too, so hopefully you guys like those, and if you do, maybe I'll start doing some more different promotions and things like that, but let's get into it. First fight of the night, Ashley Barrett taking on Tatiana Salazar. Short notice step up for Salazar, who I'm not really sure where Invicta found her. Maybe they had her kind of on their radar, or she contacted them about wanting to fight, because she hasn't fought in almost 2.5 years, and they brought her in for the short notice fight somehow. So we'll see how she looks, if she's been training and keeping it up during the layoff, because she's only 24, so she could come in here and look a new and improved version, and we'll see. It's going to be her MMA debut as well, the debut for both girls here, but Salazar, I think she's athletic. She has long arms. She has pretty long legs too, it seems like, and she wants to keep fights at range, use her jab, straight punches, uppercuts, and it seems like she has good speed. She doesn't really have the best footwork. She's a little flat-footed, and she stands very upright. So her last fight, she got controlled against the fence. She got taken down. Her takedown defense didn't look atrocious, but I definitely think unless she's improved that area, wrestlers are going to be able to take her down fairly easily. Good cardio, and if she can improve on staying long and being sharp with her hands, I do think she has potential to be a good fighter. She also has pretty powerful kicks, but her jiu-jitsu looked okay. Like, it seemed like she had a decent guard and things like that. She just got held down. And Barrett, I couldn't find too many of her fights, but she seemed decent. She's 6-1. She's 9 years young. Or she wasn't, excuse me, that's not the case anymore. She was going to fight another girl where she was 9 years younger. Now it's a young girl versus young girl match of 23 and 24. But she has more experience in terms of her amateur career. She was 6-1. Whereas Salazar was 3-2, so pretty similar, but she has more fights overall, and I think she's been fighting the higher level competition. She's been fighting in Combat Zone, reality fighting, Cage Titans, which are some decent promotions over there up north, and her one loss was a split decision. She's won 5 fights in a row, so she's coming in here with momentum. She's been fighting more frequently, and I think she's going to try to get it to the ground and win that way. On the feet, I could see Salazar surprising her and being a lot better than she expects. And I think this is a tougher matchup than Amber Medina, who was Ashley Barrett's original opponent. It's just I don't know enough about Salazar to pull the trigger on a bet on her. And with Ashley Barrett, I haven't been able to watch her more recent fights either. And ultimately, even though I think she's probably the clear favorite and going to get the job done, she's also had a lot longer time to prepare. There could be a chance for Salazar to be the real deal here, because I do think she showed potential in the amateur fights that I watched, and maybe she's cleaned up a few things and is going to debut as a pro and make a run. But Barrett is the prospect, and that's going to be my prediction, is Ashley Barrett goes out there and wins this one. And I'll say she even wins inside the distance via submission or maybe via KO/TKO on the ground. We have seen Salazar finished in both of her losses, I believe. But let's move on to this next fight, Ali Pellegrini. She's going to be taking on Marissa Ellis. And I like this matchup, actually. I think that it's a good matchup, because we got Ali Pellegrini making her debut here. She went 2-0 as an amateur, but she's kind of fought infrequently. She fought June of 2022, October 2023, and now she's coming back again now. And she's big, though. She's 5'11", so physically she has the goods, and we just have to see how she competes for better fighters. I would say Pellegrini, and she is on the money line as well, the clear underdog, but if she can extend the fight, she's going to have a chance to potentially take over late. Marissa Ellis, she lost her first pro fight in March. She started off her career with a bang. She won by knockout in 41 seconds, but took a step up in competition her last fight, took on Emily Martins, who's a known prospect, and got submitted in that one. And Ellis is a fighter who's been nothing short of dominant in her wins, though. All 4 of her wins, amateur and pro, are first-round knockouts, and she's 0-2 in fights that have gone past the first round. So she's young in her career, and this is her first Invicta fight, so she has a chance to grow and get her name out there, and I think she has a lot of potential. It's just she has to figure out how to maintain her gas tank past a few minutes and get in better shape because skills-wise, Mercedes is a good boxer. She has big power. She throws a really nice jab, tight hooks, uppercuts. She'll go to the body. She stays planted and ready to hit hard, so that has gotten her taken down and submitted in both of her losses. And she doesn't really have kicks or anything in her arsenal outside of crisp boxing, but her boxing is really good, honestly. She pushes a crazy pace when she has the cardio and throws a ton of volume, goes out there to take girls out, and basically she's expecting one-round fights up to this point in her career, and I think she's one of the best athletes, female fighter athletes out there, man. She's extremely athletic, especially for this regional scene. But like I said, it's just the cardio that's going to have to improve with her. And then overall, just she's super raw. I mean, on the ground, her last fight, she got taken down easily and then got submitted. And I feel like at this point, now that I see the line where she's a favorite, I'm not sure she's as trustworthy as a favorite at that price just because of the cardio. But Ali Pellegrini, I think, is a decent matchup for her because although Pellegrini has good cardio and if she can extend the fight and use her length, she could definitely potentially take over. She doesn't have a threat of bringing the fight to the ground. She's a Muay Thai fighter. She comes forward. So Ellis isn't going to have a difficult time finding her, I don't think. And Pellegrini does throw some long strikes, so jab, straight punches, some kicks. So you're going to have to get through her reach, but she's a little slow and she didn't move her head, and it just, to me, leaves her vulnerable. And I think that Ellis is going to walk her down, box her up, and knock her out in the first round like she has all of her other opponents that she's beaten. If it gets out of the first round, though, it could get greasy and maybe Pellegrini could take over herself. But I think Ellis is going to get this victory in the first round and keep that trend going for herself. So, yeah, but I have high hopes for Ellis. I think Ellis could be good if she just clears some things up. But this next fight, Elite Zubieta, she's taking on Guilherme Pereira, and to me, this is a pretty clear setup fight. We got an IMF amateur champion in Pereira. She's looking to make it 2-0 as a pro. She was incredibly successful as an amateur. She won the IMF World Championships in 2023. She also made the finals 2 other times. She won the IMF Pan Ams in 2022 and 2023, and her 2 amateur losses were against very good fighters. Overall, she had 15-2 amateur record. And she debuted as a pro in March. She won via second round knockout. And that fight was for the title. So, I mean, she immediately jumped into a 5-round fight. So you see that experience pays off and has given her a lot of confidence. And now she's making her United States debut and looking to make an immediate impact here for Invicta. She's taking on a 3-2 Mexican fighter who's coming off a really cool flying armbar finish. But she's up against it here. I mean, she's fighting a blue chip prospect. She doesn't have much experience, Zubieta, and she's very small. This is going to be the toughest and most experienced fighter that she's going to have fought to date. And this fight, to me, more comes down to if you think Pereira's going to finish this fight or if it goes to decision. I think Pereira is still developing in the stand-up, but she has the edge there as well. On the ground is where Pereira's going to get the fight finished, though, if she does. And I expect her to finish myself. I think that Zubieta looks rudimentary on the ground, and will take Pereira. It'll just take Pereira 1 takedown or 2 to get a sub or ground and pound finish. And I think Pereira is someone that you could trust as a parlayable fighter, but her line is very wide. So maybe just the under, you could target that. But I think Pereira is someone that definitely is going to get the victory more than likely. But moving along through the card, we got Hernandez taking on Anna Palacios in this next fight. And yeah, this one, I feel like these girls are a little higher level, a little bit further progressed than the other ones that we've been talking about. And Flora Campeon Hernandez, she's looking for redemption. She lost her Invicta debut. Before that, she was 4-0, and she took a step up in competition and lost that decision. So I'm sure she's hungry to get back in the win column, avoid an 0-2 start in Invicta. But she's going to be fighting Anna Palacios, who's going to be fighting for the first time in Invicta FC, but she's had all of her fights for Combate, so she's been fighting in a good promotion and fighting actually decent opponents overall as well. But this fight's a clash of styles. Flora is the bigger, more physical fighter. She's going to be coming forward, looking to make it a brawl. Her opponent, Anna Palacios, is going to be using her quickness, speed, or footwork, trying to stick and move and maybe time a back take or advantageous grappling position. Palacios has most of her wins via submission, and she has good back takes. We saw her last fight. She jumped on the back from standing, got that choke, and she also can hit arm bars or submissions from her full guard. But we've seen her taken down and beaten up as well. And I think if Floor can get on top of her, it's going to potentially be a problem for Palacios because I think Hernandez has good top control, good submission defense, and good ground and pound, and it could end up bad for Palacios if she's just trying to play jiu-jitsu. In Hernandez's last fight, she did get out-wrestled, but she was fighting Lily Ferreira, who's experienced and I think a much better fighter, and she was able to survive some bad positions, even get on top. So I think it showed me a little bit that Hernandez is potentially someone that could reach that next level. It's just both these girls are really small, so atom weights aren't in the UFC, and it's hard for them to really find their niche. But I just think that Hernandez is higher level. On the feet, I think it'll be competitive, but I think Hernandez is going to control the center and probably land the harder punches. And if she gets on top, I think she can exploit Palacios wanting to play jiu-jitsu off her back, hold her down, and maybe even get a ground and pound finish or something like that. So I'm going to go with Hernandez in that fight. And the next fight that we got up is Kelly Otoni. She's taking on Jackie Cataline. And Otoni, she's making a comeback to MMA. She hasn't fought in 2 years, and she's 39 years old. So that's definitely something that you kind of have to take into account and monitor a little bit. I feel like she could come in and not necessarily look the same, but honestly, her style was more conducive, or wasn't really conducive wasn't really about being athletic. My bad. I don't know why I couldn't figure out how to say that, but yeah, I mean, she was the Jungle Fight champion, Otani. She's 5-0, and this is a step up in competition. It's her first fight outside of Brazil, but I don't think Otani's the worst. I mean, she's not a great fighter, and she's definitely not a good minute winner, but she's dangerous, and on the feet, she's hittable, but she is imposing in terms of her pressure and her intensity, and she walks you down. She's willing to take punches to get punches. She'll throw some straights, nice jab, good head kick. She'll throw front kicks to the body. She is slow, but I think she believes in her chin and her power and just is willing to absorb damage. But her takedown defense is pretty much non-existent. But what she does have is a decent submission game, and she was losing nearly the entire fight versus Yana Gadelia, who's a good grappler, but she found her moment in the second round, hit a guillotine, so she doesn't quit on herself either. And I think Jackie Cataline, who's a good wrestler, is going to be able to hit takedowns at will, so Otani's going to have to be opportunistic, wait for a moment, and try to steal that win again. Cardio-wise, Otani has good cardio, and I've seen her fight 5 rounds, so she is 39 coming back off of a layoff, so who knows, maybe that will affect her cardio, but I think that she's going to be the better conditioned fighter. And for Jackie Cataline, her career's kind of been a bust for the most part, but she's trying to turn it around. She had an impressive amateur wrestling background and immediately debuted for PFL. And she started out 3-1, but took a couple losses after that. Her last fight, she bounced back, got a win in Bellator over a 6-1 fighter, but overall she's 4-3, so that's an ugly record, and she needs to kind of string some wins together. But Cataline is a boxer wrestler. She isn't the greatest on the feet, but early on she has some power and she's gotten some knockdowns. She has good takedown ability and she can kind of grind it out, which is what I think she's going to want to do here. On the feet, she's going to be smaller, and I could see her struggling a little bit with the push kicks, the range. So closing that gap, putting Otani on her back is probably the smartest thing. And she had some issues with leg kicks in previous fights, and I feel like if they keep it standing, maybe Otani could eventually start to get off with some kicks. So Cataline needs to wrestle here. And Otani has some dangerous submissions, but if Cataline avoids those, she's going to win. So I think Jackie Cataline wins most likely, but Otani isn't someone I want to bet against at this price with Cataline at minus 300 because she could get the finish either on the ground or with the TKO. So I think that Otani's a dangerous fighter, but older, coming off a layoff, and she definitely isn't the best at winning minutes. So if it goes the distance, Cataline's going to win, and I think that Cataline overall should get the job done, but there is that danger factor with Otani that kind of has me laying off. But this next fight, Kate Kate Bassett, Kate Basic, I'm not 100% sure, but takes on Christina. And for Kate, she's 31 years old, English fighter. She's on a 4-fight winning streak, and she's been fighting in good promotion. She went 2-0 in Cage Warriors. She won the title in PAWFC, her last fight, which is a up-and-coming Canadian promotion. But this can be her United States debut or an Invicta debut, and a big fight for her, taking on Christina, who's coming back for the first time since May of 2023. And she last fought for Bellator. She lost to Denise Kielholz, who's a good fighter, a former Bellator champion, or a former fighter that fought for the belt in Bellator, Kielholz, and kickboxing champion. And overall, Christina is 6-2, and she has some solid wins. She trains with Novo and Yao, so I think she has time to make a run at 29 years old, and I kind of expect Christina to get the win here. Kate Bassick is a good grappler, but she doesn't have great wrestling, offense, or defense. Christina's big, strong. She has good takedown defense, and I think she can keep this standing. On the feet, she has sharp counters, and although both are a little stiff, Christina has better offense. She has more power. I think she can land heavy shots as Basic tries to enter range, and she could even get Basic out of there, I feel like, if she can land some hard punches in combination. And Christina's proven to be very durable. She's fought the better competition. She has lost 2 of her last 3, but both those losses came against high-level opponents. And she's coming off a layoff because I think she kind of had some issues with the Bellator PFO acquisition, but now she's back, and I think she's going to have the better Muay Thai, keep it standing, and get this decision. So Christina is going to be the pick for me in this fight, and I feel like as long as she avoids grappling, going to the ground, she's going to be the clear side in that one. And in the co-main event, we got a gigantic favorite in Tina Black, Valeska Machado. And Tina Black's one of my favorite female fighters to watch. I really hope she can get into the UFC this year or next year. And she's a dynamic striker. She has a lot of experience as well, 13-4-1. She was the Invicta FC champion, but lost the belt in her last Invicta appearance last March. She did bounce back earlier this year, got a dominant 49-second knockout over 4-0 prospect Taylor Malden. That fight was an A1 combat. And this is her first fight back in Invicta since dropping the belt. Huge favorite. And she's taking on Yulia Ostrakova, who's making her USA and Invicta debut. And she's kind of in a marquee position here where she's taking on a opponent with name value in the co-main event. So a win here would turn Ostrakova from a relatively unknown into a fighter who could be fighting for the Invicta FC title or even in the UFC in the near future. But huge underdog, and most of her wins came against, low-level opponents or inexperienced opponents. She also has a draw and a loss in 2 of her last 3 fights. So a win here would give her a big name on her record, make her 10-2. But I think that 9-2-1 record's a little bit fugazi. But I don't see many paths to victory for Ostrakova here. She has awkward stand-up. Her wrestling is sloppy. I feel like she doesn't have the greatest grappling, and Tina Black is just really good, man. On the feet, she's very fluid. She has elite speed, straight punches, nice kicks, good sprawls, good takedown defense. She can even hit a double herself. And I just feel like she's going to put Ostrakova on that island in terms of not being able to get it to the ground and forcing her to strike and just beat the brakes off her. And I think she's going to finish her here. I think it's a must-win for Machado. I think Machado, 29 years old, 13-4, got that 49-second knockout. I think she wants to get these big wins, man, and get into a big promotion. So it's pivotal for her to go in there and get a finish, get a dominant victory over an opponent like this, and I think that's what she intends to do. It will do. So give me Machado to win this one inside the distance. I'll say she gets a knockout in the first round here. And in the main event, we have Jennifer Maia and Myra Cantario, and another huge favorite with Maia. Both these girls are closing up the show Friday, and it's Maia's return to Invicta, her first fight since being cut from the UFC. And Maia went 3-0 in Invicta. She had 2 title defenses, or 1 title victory, 1 title defense. And she went on to sign with the UFC in 2017. She fought for the belt, had a good UFC record. And even now, she's still probably top 10 in the world. But she's kind of a thorn in the UFC side more than an asset at this point, and that's why they parted ways. She's older at 35, and she still has the capability to beat young prospects, but just isn't that marketable. So I think the UFC would rather just pay a prospect less money to fight. But this is Maia's first fight in 10 months, so We'll see how she looks, but I expect her to show up motivated. Myra is getting the biggest fight of her career, and it's a chance to maybe get the call up to a bigger show. 35 years old, so she's not going to get many more opportunities like this. And Cantario has gone 7-2 in her last 9 fights. She won her Invicta debut via submission and an impressive performance, but she hasn't fought since March of 2023, and this is likely going to be an uphill battle for her. She hasn't beaten anyone even close to this level, so we'll see how she looks, but she's a good athlete. She's powerful. She's aggressive early. She explodes in with big 3-2s, 2-3s, good jab. She's a bit stiff and kind of floats her chin. She doesn't move her head. She holds her hands low, and she'll load up on all her shots, but if she lands, she does have power. But she doesn't have the greatest grappling. Her takedown defense is okay. She's a fast sprawl, but her clinch defense didn't really hold up in her fight with Jamie Lynn Horth. And on bottom, she will attack leg attacks. And I've never actually seen her finish a leg lock, though. And it seems like a lot of her decision-making on the ground isn't the greatest. Her last fight, she did get the back in a scramble and got the choke. But in the first round, she also got held down for the latter half of it. I think Maya dominates the wrestling grappling if it goes there in this fight. And cardio-wise, Cantario definitely slows down and will get hit and kind of be slower with her single shots. So if Maya stays solid in her face, I think she could really dominate as the fight progresses. And we all kind of know about Jennifer Maya, solid, well-rounded veteran. And this fight, she is moving up in weight, so she is going to be a little smaller. But skills-wise, on the feet, she has good footwork, good boxing, great jab. I think she's going to be able to land clean counters, land that jab all day, and she's just much sharper, more technical. Early on, she may be a little less athletic, so she has to be a little careful, but there's nothing to indicate Maya's not going to be consistent for 15 minutes, which to me makes her the better striker. And Maya's probably going to move and counter early, and when Cantario begins to tire, pressure behind the jab, pick up the heat, I think she could look to mix it up too, clinch against the fence, try to time a takedown, and if she gets on top, I think she wins that round. She isn't a finisher, but I think if she turns it up on the mat here, she could get a gas Cantario out of there. But regardless, I think Maya is the clear side here. And this fight's a little tricky early because of the size and athleticism, but I think Maya's too skilled. She has the cardio and is just going to beat her over the full 15. And Maya has been sharp in her striking. She had some kickboxing wins this year. So I think she's going to be tuned up in the stand-up, looking to show that off. And I see Jenny Maya getting this job done. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching this Invicta FC breakdown. And I told you guys I would give you a free bet at the start of it. So I'll give you that now. And the bet that I'm going to give you guys is a plus money bet at plus 150. And that's going to be the under in the Valeska Machado and the Yulia Ostrakova fight. I just think that Machado is going to get the finish. And I think that there's some value on that line. So put that bet out there. And once again, thanks for watching this, guys. I got 2 other bets for this show, and I'm going to have some more content like this on Patreon. So if you like content like this, go sign up at patreon.com/AmPredictionGuru. We've been doing really well with bets recently, man. We won 6 events in a row, hit some pretty solid underdogs on some regional cards. So I think it would be smart for you guys to go over there and make yourself some money and help support the channel. And besides that, man, I'll be back Friday doing that live stream, so come check us out, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And, yeah, man, I'm out. Thanks for supporting the channel.